I went to the Pursuit of Truth. So a little bit late this one. I did actually start recording it, but I got interrupted by the twins making noise. So redoing it now. To do with the allegation against Boris Johnson and the Conservative Party at their Christmas party last year against COVID rules at the time, whilst everyone else was told not to do it. And let me just correct that so straight. And the surprise by everyone that this is happening, that people in power abuse it, and that's what I wanted to talk about. I mean, I'm not sure whether the party's a smokescreen to hide for something else, because it does seem a bit strange that it's taken a year for it to come out, and whether it's just a distraction of something else, whether it's to do with the Omicron, or I don't know, to distract us, make us think about that, and the fact that we think that this is, there's no, like, I would like someone to give me a name of a politician, premier, president who hasn't been involved in some scandal or some abuse of power. um I don't think there is, you know or a king. It has always been, it's part of it. It seems, I know there's a quote in the Bible about it, that that when there's power, it turns you. Even if you start off as a good person, let's say, like, for example, say Tony Blair. Everyone thought he was a great prime minister before he got involved with George W. Bush and led us down the illegal wars and the bloodshed and all that kind of stuff, and the lying um, about weapons of mass destruction and 45-minute rockets, uh, and just this idea so we think that, okay, so the answer to this is, let's just get rid of someone. Some sacrificial lamb has to give themselves up to keep the president and the prime minister in there, or we have an election, or a coup d'etat or whatever. But the thing is that it doesn't. That the problem really isn't the person. The problem is humanity. I don't know whether it's intrinsic. I don't believe it's intrinsic, because children, they don't have it when they're born. I think we unfortunately teach it to them, not on purpose. We don't sit down and tell them, now we're going to teach you how to do treachery, and how when you have power, you can put brown envelopes, and give it to people and help out only your friends and make lots of money out of it while pretending to be looking after everyone. Those lessons don't take place, but they're the very subtle things that we do, or they pick up on movies, or they see other people do it and replicate it through watching news and saying, well, this person's done it, so why shouldn't I do it? That kind of mentality. So it made me wonder whether, and I know I've mentioned this before in Pursuits of Truth, that whether, the way that we govern, this idea of electing someone above other people, whether that's a problem. But I don't know if there is a solution instead of that. Can we all be in charge? The problem is, I don't think. Well, the thing is, like, I'm thinking of that and it doesn't seem feasible. But remember, got to remember that I'm thinking from the old ways, the way I've been taught to think, that this is the only way of doing it, and thus that programming gets in the way of me actually trying to think of a way that is would work. I mean, I don't know, but the thing is, probably everyone who follows the same template of having the same government, having people elected to be above other people, from history down till now. But I don't think it works. Once you give someone power, and this is not just in that, in lots of different roles, in management roles, in doctors, in all sorts of things, even actors and celebrities, once they have a power above, say, the ordinary normal person, suddenly they are able to, or maybe because it allows them to be able, they don't have to do it. Not everyone, I'm sure, does abuse their power, but they probably do it maybe little subtle ways they don't realize, and that's still an abuse of power, even a subtle way. Like, giving a ticket to someone for free when, everyone else has to pay because it's your family or friend. So maybe this idea of having people above other people, that's the problem, because at the end of the day, we're all meant to be, well, we all are born the same, with the same power, with the same everything. It's just the system that we're in allows people, by position or money or wealth or chance, to jump those things and become more powerful of other people, such as government or celebrity or newsreader or doctor. And yeah, maybe we have to have these things because there is no other viable option. Because if everyone's allowed to control, I guess the idea would be chaos, because everyone would say different things. But then that happens anyway within government when you've elected just 200 people to govern everyone. If you had 1 million people, then it would still be the same problem. It's just it's magnified even more. So I don't know what is the solution. How do we stop, if this is the only way of having people that should we trust to elect in? Well, maybe the system doesn't work because we always have the same parties and they pick their own people and they put two people up, and then that's our choice, and the choice is really bad. And then that's maybe the problem, the way that's done. Maybe if that's sorted out, that if we could pick random people, or maybe we need to pick good-hearted people who maybe won't be so corruptible by money and power. But it just made me think about this, that what is the solution? Is there another way? Because it's not working, and just replacing the person isn't going to stop it, because it's just the system. The next person come along will do another abuse power in its own way, or may not get found out, or I guess it's a whole bigger problem because it's a whole system that is, it may have been feasible 100 years ago, but I don't think it's feasible anymore. I don't think it works anymore. I think now because we can see everything now, and because we understand a lot more, but the things we keep following it still. I was watching the Roth edit of the Isolated Humanity, which I'm hoping will be out before Christmas. If not, it'll be January. I was just correcting some sound things, and was just watching that, the different magnitudes of different people's sufferings. And most of it is to do with the system that we live within, that we just keep accepting. And it has lots of faults in it, this system, that, from the very fact of, how we're taught things, to the way that things are given out, to the way we divided the place that we found ourselves upon, to truth and lies. And it does depress you when you start thinking about this, because the problem is like, I can't come up with the answer. I can't, well, even if I did, I'll be the wrong person, because I'm so introverted that I'm not so introverted, but I am introverted rather than extroverted, even though I make these podcasts, but that's because there's no one else here when I'm doing them. I wouldn't be able to share that information other than here, and no one's listening on here. It's frustrating to know that there is a problem. I can see there's a problem with humanity. Everyone, I think, can see that, and it's just they dismiss it because they want to live their life and be happy, or because you would be so depressed if you just carried on thinking about it, and you're just hitting your head against the wall because you can't think of a solution. How do you solve this problem that we found ourselves in now, that thousands of years of working up to, like when those balls of string, those like string where it goes, is it cat's ladle, cat's weasel, I don't know what it is, cat's whatever, that, where there's lots of different wires and they're all entangled. That's where we are. And how do you untangle all them, especially when everyone likes them being tangled, and they don't see, because if their personal existence is okay, they don't worry about the whole existence of humanity. If there's countries, thousands and millions of people starving or suffering, as long as they feel okay, their near ones or their country or their division, as I should call it, feels okay, then they feel that there's nothing really needing to be done other than giving a bit of charity or feeling bad. But that's not that. To look at it that way is wrong, because you're by chance lucky to be birthed in a place where it was good. You could have been easily birthed in a place where it wasn't, and then you'd be suffering. You're thinking, why aren't they helping me? Because of complacency, because of greed and selfishness. And it gets really frustrating when you can't, well, A, you can't do anything, and B, you can't work out what is the alternative. Is there no alternative? Is this is the best it could be? Is that possible, that the way we're living is the best we could? Well, I don't think so, because I think if we didn't have money, and if we didn't have the system that we lived with, and if we had, maybe we have to keep hierarchy, maybe we have to keep schools and governments and all that kind of stuff. But if we took away money, and we talk about those things, maybe people wouldn't have the idea of being greedy or being selfish or being abusing power, because there'd be nothing to gain from it, because everyone has the same. No one needs money because everything is given to you that you would need. Like everyone has a house, everyone has access to medicine whenever they need it. Exactly what we have, say, in this country, but without money and for everyone. So that you just go to a shop, you pick up what you need, and you come back. And then I know people say, but if it's free, everyone would be so greedy. Well, everyone is anyway, because the amount of food that gets thrown away that's wasted. I don't think it would be like that, because I think people would be more sensible, because the thing is, it wouldn't be that this generation, it would be the future generations, because once they've learned out of the system, because we've been brought into the system of money and possession and all that kind of stuff, so we probably would fail. But the future ones, because they would learn to see when they grow up and they don't see money and they don't see all these different things, the different system, they would then adapt to it and feel that as normal, and then it would work. But just how do we give up what we have? How do the rich people, powerful people, give up what they have to give to everyone? The people who want to possess the earth and divide it, how do we get them to undo that and say, it's all of ours? You don't need a passport. It's all of ours. Every place should be as good as each other, so that people don't have to move, that they can enjoy where they are living, or they can move if they want to. And everyone can have access to food and a house and warmth without having to struggle. This one existence that we get, remember. I mean, I don't see it as impossible if I can think it. And you could easily make some science fiction program and you could see it. It's just the problem is because of that, the ball of string that's entwined all of us into this, in our brains as well, of this is how it has to be and this is the only way, and you just carry on and that's it. I think I've waffled on enough now. Take care, easy, got best. Peace.